Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is more footage from the Set 10 revival, but it's not me playing this time. This is some footage that was provided to me by Rienzo. Rienzo put a number of different games up on YouTube. I think he put like 3 or 4 different games. This was the one that I found the most entertaining to watch. And this is one that Rienzo just called Big Garen. Big Garen, which turned out to be a very accurate name for this game. And I liked it so much, I'm just going to use the same name. This is Big Garen, the TFT game. So yeah, it'll become more clear what that means as things go on. Now, I believe that the encounter was a Jin encounter, which means that the final augment is going to be prismatic. I've said this a bunch of time in other games, but this is one of my least favorite of the prismatic of the various encounters because I don't like getting the last augment as prismatic. I don't mind the first one being prismatic as much, but too much randomness that can blow up your game with the final one being prismatic if you just end up getting like 5 or 6 choices that are all pretty terrible. So far, we haven't seen much from Rienzo's gameplay that would suggest playing into a Garen direction. He has kind of a crowd diver, maybe KDA opener. I guess I'd say the early Lux means you could go Disco Dazzler or EDM. I believe he had a Jax dropped as well, so could have maybe looked to go EDM, although EDM is not especially strong in the version of the Set 10 revival that we've been playing these however many weeks it's been since this first came out. There were, when the actual Set 10 was on the live client, there were some weeks where EDM was super strong. By the way, also a Misfortune. This could be a setup for a Superfans Misfortune game. If you can hit the early Misfortune, then it can be pretty strong. But anyway, that we'll have to see the direction that Rienzo ends up going in this game. Number of different options here. There's the grab bag if you want more duplicators. He already has one lesser champion duplicator. You could get even more here. Has Pandora's items. Also had Slammin'. I would have probably taken Slammin'. I pretty much always take that unless I'm deliberately re-rolling for like a 1-cost unit. But especially in a situation like this where Rienzo doesn't really have direction, I would probably just take that because, yeah, the augment is, you basically just get 2 XP for free every single round, plus an additional component. Anyway, it looks like Rienzo's checking what everybody else is playing here, but he's going to have to make a decision soon. All right, he took the lesser champion duplicators. So he's going to have 3 duplicators here. It's a lot of duplicators. And he's going to be able to go from a 2-star unit to a 3-star unit pretty fast here. But he's going to have to end up actually finding what unit he wants to use that on. As of right now, he doesn't really have a whole lot. He should probably sell the MF if he's not going to play it here, just because he could probably get close to 20 gold if he sell. Yeah, actually, okay, can get to 20 gold by selling everything. Okay, Rienzo was very much on top of that, so he has a pretty strong gold start here. Now, this is actually unusual. It is a 1-item start. Yeah, the rare 1-item start, but he is quite wealthy. He was able to level 4 and still hit 20 gold, which is, yeah, a lot. Now, I believe he got some gold from his augment as well. Looks like he's going into KDA at the moment. Now, note that his Evelyn is a crowd diver Eve. It's not a KDA Eve. So that's somewhat less useful, although it is nice that he can get the crowd diver effect without actually having to play another crowd diver. He doesn't have to find the Katarina, is usually the other early crowd diver. He doesn't have to find a Katarina. He can just get that stacking damage and the Eve flinging herself into the corner of the map when she dies without having to have any of the other crowd diver units in. And yeah, it looks like this is reasonably strong early on with the extra health from KDA. I mean, we're basically, Rienzo's hitting both of Evelyn's traits, which is always nice if you can do that with your headliner, to hit just both of the traits early on. But as I said, so far, I haven't really seen all that much in terms of his direction. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting here to see what he's going to do and see which headliner is going to go for. It does look like he might be trying to go in that Garen direction here, because he is picking up Sentinel units, which is what you want to do if you're going to play this Garen reroll, which is a very niche build, but sometimes if you can put the conditions together, it does work out pretty well. One build that was very popular for a long time during Set 10 was the 6 Sentinel Ari build, and what we're going to be seeing in this game is kind of a variation on that. It's not as popular now. It was popular when when the actual set was out. This actual set was played over I think it was played like December, January, February. Like that was like the main time while the set was out. As you see, Rienzo sell up to 30 gold. And so that meant that the set coincided with the long winter break when the Riot team just goes on vacation for like a little while. They're basically on vacation for like most of December. So they always have this period of like 3 or 4 weeks where they just like don't patch at all. It's my favorite time of the year for TFT because we actually get a break from endless patches coming out. But long story short, while we were on that long holiday break when the set was actually on the live client, that was the point in time where the 6 Sentinel Ahri was pretty popular. Yeah, that was my long story finally coming to a roundabout conclusion there. That was the point in time where 6 Sentinel Ahri was very popular. What I mean by that is it's a build where you play 6 Sentinel, which is one of the traits. Sentinel is one of the frontline traits here in the set. And you basically just get all these tanks. Because Sentinel is a trait that gives armor and magic resistance to the whole team, with Sentinel units getting more, and most of the Sentinel units are pretty much pure tanks. Garen is actually not one of them. But most of them are just pure tanks. They don't really deal any damage. They just stand up there and tank. But it was a point in time where 6 Sentinel was really strong. And so you just get all these tanks, stuff them up there, and then you basically just put a Ahri behind all those tanks. And Ahri would have a Gunblade and a Gnasher's Tooth and a blue buff. And Ahri would just cast and cast and cast, and Ahri would slowly heal the front line. And basically it was just impossible to... It was really difficult to kill Ahri before she... Just like, you couldn't get through the tank line fast enough to kill Ahri before she had stacked up like 50 extra ability power from Spellweaver trade. And like that was very strong for the whole winter patch. So there was like a 5-week period where this was a really dominant build. That's probably one of the reasons why it's not been a dominant build here in set 10, because the patch that they're using for this was from the end of the set. And by the end of the set, everybody was so sick of the 6 Sentinel build that it had kind of been nerfed into not unplayable status, but not especially strong status by any means. As far as what Rienzo's doing, I was kind of waiting to see where he was going with this. He took a Garen off the carousel, along with a vest. And by the way, if he's going to play this build, he does need to emphasize a lot of tank items. But now he actually has the Garen on the board, and he's playing Riven, I believe, just so he can stack up 8-bit trait, as he wants to get that stacking damage on the old-fashioned arcade machine on the right-hand side of the screen. As a quick refresher, 8-bit trait stacks up over time, and you hit these various high scores as your 8-bit units deal damage, and it translates into additional attack damage for them. It's not damage amp, it's AD, so it is a purely AD, or purely physical damage based trait. I had a number of other videos where I did 8-bit builds, and I actually couldn't remember at the time. I was like, does this actually provide damage amp, or is it just physical damage? And it is, in fact, just physical damage, so you need to be playing through physical damage units. By the way, I'm a little surprised that Rienzo's winning this round, but it looks like Garen plus Seraphine have got this one. Yeah, all right. I thought the other board looked like it was stronger, but in any case, he did win that one, and it was a pretty good stage 2. Unfortunate that he had the loss when he did, right in the middle of the stage, because I always hate it when you win 4 out of 5 rounds, and then the loss comes on the third one, so you go win-win, loss, win-win, and you can't get any of the like really big streaks to go your way. Still, Rienzo's really, really rich. He just doesn't have a lot of item components just yet, but like he's level 5, 50 gold here. And he actually has a decent amount of gold on his bench as well. He's got, he's holding another 6 gold on the bench, which is a decent amount. So he can probably be level 6, 50 gold pretty easily here. And then I'm really curious what he's going to do. Is he going to, how long is he going to stick? Oh, by the way, he even got Riven 2-star there. That's really nice. How long is he going to stick with the Eve headliner? Because I think he's getting to the point where he wants to move out of the Eve headliner pretty quickly here, would be my guess. He also did get the components for an Archangel Staff, and that's actually really important in Tier plus Rod. If you're going to play this Garen build, you actually really want to make an Archangel Staff. All right, so let's see what he does here. Again, I've watched parts of this game before. I did not sit down and watch the entire game footage, but all right. So he is going to go ahead and make the tier, or place the tier. He's not making the immediate Archangel Staff, so maybe he had not decided to go in the Garen direction just yet. And then as far as frontline items go, he could make a Sunfire, he could make a Bramble Vest. I would probably try to make at least one frontline item based on the various items that he has here. All right, going to continue being patient, holding the items, and wait to see who he puts them on. Yeah, Garen gets the rod, kind of a weird item for Garen. Probably should have leveled to level 6 there, though, I would think. And by the way, there is some hiccups in the recording here. We actually end up missing most of that fight, which is a bit unfortunate. But I am recording this footage off of YouTube, and I think there were points in time where the video footage just skipped out. I can't remember if that was on Rienzo's end or if it was on my end when I grabbed the footage. But in any case, there were a couple points in time where it didn't quite work out. I will say I don't think that Rienzo wins that round even if he had leveled to level 6. But he might have been able to kill the Twitch and get a little bit closer. Alrighty. Oh, okay. I see this. He's got Shield Bash here. Sentinels gain 5% bonus armor and magic resistance. Every 4 seconds, the next attack deals 75% of their resistance as its magic damage. Gain a Garen. This must be where he made the decision he was going to go for the 6 Sentinel Garen build here. It does get a lot better with Shield Bash. Now, normally this is one of the weakest augments in the game. We don't have augment stats, but this one's pretty weak overall. 5% bonus armor and MR is not a whole lot to have. So it's generally not seen as being a particularly good option. By the way, he should also sell the Eve Headliner if he's going to be rolling here, which I suspect he is. And yeah, now he needs to just find more Sentinel units. But it looks like he's not going to go for it this round. Maybe he's going to wait until the next round. But he really does need to move out of the Eve Headliner if he's going to move in this direction. All right, so this means he's playing through a heavy Sentinel board. Sentinels are going to get additional armor and magic resistance, an extra 5% armor and MR. And in addition to that, it's like every 4 seconds, they deal magic damage based on a percentage of the armor and MR that they have stacked up. So basically, this is a trait that you take if you're going to just be playing through like tank after tank after tank, is the basic idea there. But he definitely does not have the board put together yet. He's still in like kind of this awkward half 8-bit, half KDA setup here. And he doesn't really have a carry at the moment either. So definitely needs to be moving in that direction here. So all right, going to sell that. That makes sense. And now going to go ahead and make the Archangel Staff. Might seem like kind of a weird item. Also should probably clear his Team Planner at some point, because he obviously has a Team Planner from some other game. Left over from like some Heartsteel game, and it can be confusing. All right, well there you go. There's a Mordekaiser. There's an Echo, but it's a headliner. He doesn't really want that. And then oh wow, the dream hit there. He just hit the Sentinel Garen immediately, and he really does want the Sentinel version of Garen here. It's not that he can't play the 8-bit version, but like he kind of wants to play like either a Riven or a Caitlyn on the board anyway, to get some additional armor and magic to get some additional damage, because one of the weaknesses of this board is it's very heavy on tanks, but it's pretty low on damage. Like you kind of want to play like a Caitlyn anyway to get some more damage on the board. Whereas getting the Sentinel is really nice, because then you can cut one of the weaker Sentinels. There's only 6 Sentinels in the set. So if you want to play 6 Sentinel, you either have to get the Headliner that has +1, or you have to play all of them. So this means you can cut like Cassante from the board, who is not an especially good Sentinel over there. Anyway, Rienzo is going to get second pick here, so he will have his choice. There is an Ahri with a sword. That would be incredible if he could get that. That is exactly what he wants. He wants an Ahri desperately, and he also needs a sword as well. So let's see if he can get this. It looks like he can. What a dream thing to pick up here. So now he has a carry to play through. He can put the Ahri back there together with the Seraphine, and he's got a carry to play through. He can just ditch the Quirky. He really doesn't need Quirky on this board. That's going to put KDA trait in, and as soon as he finds Echo, that's going to put Spellweaver trait in as well. Plus, he's got the Sword, which is half of a Bloodthirster, which is the next item he needs to pick. And there's even a Caitlyn here as well. So that's really... Wow, he has a lot of teams in his team planner. He has a lot of teams in his team planner. Apparently, he had this one saved up as well. All right, I think he should actually keep the Seraphine in there. But yeah, he can definitely move some of this board around. He does not want to sell the Ahri. You need to get the Ahri on the board for something. I would probably just take out the Riven. Riven doesn't fit this team composition. But anyway, he's going to roll here. There's the Garen. If he burns the duplicators, he actually has Garen. Oh, he found an early Blitz as well. He could actually triple duplicate the Garen and just go to and just start leveling if he wanted to. But he definitely should not sell that Seraphine. That is a unit that he wants to play long term, because he definitely wants to get KDA trade. And why is he not playing the Ahri? Okay, that's a bit of a mistake. He really should be playing the Ahri here over the... I think that's much better than 4-8. I don't think he needs to play 4-8-bit here overall, but I guess it's defensible. All right, so how does Garen's kit work? What do we mean when we talk about Big Garen? What is this team composition designed to do? So this is a very niche team composition, but it can work out quite well. Basically, Garen has 8-bit and Sentinel traits. Garen's specific ability is every time he ults, he gains max HP. Gains max health every single time that he ults. So you can set up a situation where he just keeps ulting and keeps getting more health, and he just keeps getting tankier and tankier and tankier as the fights go on. In order to make this work, you really have to play into the 6 Sentinel because he just doesn't survive long enough without it. So you kind of want to get 6 Sentinel, which gives him a boatload of armor and magic resistance. I believe 6 Sentinel is 55 armor and magic resistance for the whole team, and then Sentinels get double. So I think it's 110 armor and 110 magic resistance on the Sentinel units themselves. So you want to get that, and then you want to combine it with an Archangel Staff. And what that means is that the unit that has it will scale over time. They get more and more AP the longer the fight goes on. So the longer the fight goes on, Garen will get more and more health, and every time he's ulting, he's getting more health, and he gets more health on each ult because he's got an Archangel Staff to scale him up over the course of the fights. So he's just going to keep getting more health, and then you pair it with a Bloodthirster, so he has the big shield. Also, there's not enough bench space, unfortunately, to use the duplicators now. Whoops. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Ran out of bench space to use the duplicators. Now, he could just level to level 7, and that would help clear out some bench space here. But yeah, that's a little, a little unfortunate right there. But anyway, it's Bloodthirster plus Archangel Staff. And then typically, if you want to play this, ideally you combine it with an artifact item. The Innervating Locket, which is one of the artifact items, is insanely strong if you can have that for the last item. All right, this will clear out some bench space here by hitting some 2-star units. So I don't know if Rienzo's going to get an artifact anvil, but he will be able to make the Archangel. He already has the Archangel Staff, and he can make the Bloodthirster. So again, keep in mind, the Bloodthirster is going to synergize really well with this because it gives you a shield for a percent of max health when you drop down to I think it's 60% health, the Bloodthirster shield triggers. So, I mean, if Garen just keeps stacking up more and more and more and more health, well, you get the idea, right? The shield's going to be even stronger. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame he doesn't have an artifact anvil to pull here, but that is, most of the pieces are in place here now. I've got the 4 Sentinel. Again, might be better to, I personally think that it's better to drop the 4 8-bit because Corki is doing nothing and Riven is doing nothing. I think it would be better just to drop that and focus on, you could put in the Seraphine for KDA and Spellweaver traits. Actually, no. Could put in the Lilia and the Seraphine for KDA and Spellweaver traits. I think that would be better than the 8-bit trait. But I guess having more 8-bit units in does stack up 8-bit trait a little bit faster. So you could run a little while to stack up 8-bit trait, I guess. I still think there are better options. Here is the final augment, though, and we knew it would be prismatic. I would probably just take Coronation here for the +1 team size. I think that one's really overpowered. But there's another option here that Rienzo's going to go for, and that's Belt Overflow. Gain 5 giant belts. Your giant belts gain +60 bonus health. So if you want to build out the Sentinel team, this is a really good one to take. Remember, Sentinels give armor and magic resistance to the whole team. All right, so now he's moving into the 6 Sentinel here. There we go, 6 Sentinel. And now Seraphine is just needed for the KDA and the Spellweaver trait. Like I said, remember, I'm going to put the Spirit Visage on Garen, which is noteworthy because Spirit Visage increases healing. Gives you healing for percent of max health as well. So that's a good last item on Garen if you can't get the Innervating Locket, or Talisman of Ascension is also supposed to be pretty good there as well. But anyway, as I was saying, the whole point of the Sentinel trait is it gives you armor and magic resistance. So you pair that with all these belts that give health, and that's exactly what Sentinel units need. They already get armor and MR from their trait. What they need is more health to become tankier. And 5 Giants belts goes a long way towards that. So that allowed the Mordekaiser to make a Warmogs, a Sunfire, and then also to make a Gnasher's Tooth on Ari, which is one of her best items. This is like the classic fight. Garen is just tanking forever. Look how much health he has. Every time he ults, his health bar gets bigger. He's up to 7,000 health at this point in time. So Garen just cannot die in the fight. You just cannot kill the Garen. If you see somebody going for this build, it's actually super important to try to get a Sunfire or a Red Buff or a Morello's. You desperately need to get a heal cut to stop Garen's healing because he just ticks for too much health. Again, the Spirit Visage heals for a percentage of missing HP. So the more health Garen gets, the more the Spirit Visage heals him for. Again, it's not as good as the Innervating Locket, which is an artifact item, but it's still quite good overall. And again, this is pretty much just the perfect situation to be playing this Garen overall setup in. The other teams need to be able to either burst Garen down quickly or alternately have some method of backline access. You need to be able to get through that super tanky front line and be able to hit champs. So, for example, this person has an Akali on their board. The Akali can actually jump in the backline and start killing the carries on Rienzo's team. So can get back there, and like the Caitlyn died, but unfortunately was not for that player was not able to get over to the Ahri. So like you can see, the front line just tanks so long with all that armor and magic resistance from Sentinel trait, and Garen having like this kind of funny item set up, that it's just not possible to get back there and kill the Ahri and stop the fight. And Ahri doesn't even have Spellweaver or KDA traits in yet. Remember, KDA trait gives another percentage bonus to HP, so Garen will get even more health from that. And once Spellweaver trait's in play, Ahri's going to heal, is going to be stacking up ability power over the course of the fight too. As far as this, this item carousel goes, I'm not sure that anything here is that great for Rienzo. He can pick up Jhin, and in fact, Jhin is actually another unit he could play on this board if he goes to level 9. Now, it's not worth sticking around and holding a Jhin that long, but like because this is such a stall board, Jhin is actually not a terrible unit to play on this board either. In theory, you could put like Jhin plus Kai'Sa on the board, but I don't think he has slats for both of them. Still, if he just needs like another random 5-cost unit to play, a late game Jhin is actually not the worst to have on a board like this. Yeah, okay. So getting all these units on the board, and yeah, now the KDA traits in play in Spellweaver. So this is a pretty vertical team setup. Only playing 4 traits here. It would not be a good game to play Jazz. But what he has is pretty effective, and now he can just stay on level. I mean, he doesn't really get a whole lot by going to level 9. He could play like another 5-cost unit, and there are some decent candidates. Sona's not bad to play on this board, and Lucian wouldn't be too bad to play on this board either, because Lucian would put Rapid Fire trait in for the Caitlyn, which I do not think would be bad in this situation. But he can definitely stay here. He really should try to 2-star a few more of his units, because he doesn't really have that many 2-star units. It's worthwhile to stay here and spend a little gold to try to hit 2-star Ahri, 2-star Caitlyn, 2-star Blitzcrank, etc. He's already on Blitz pair, Kate pair, so it's worthwhile to roll a little gold to try to hit these and try to complete the 2 stars. You also do want to keep an eye on the lobby, see if anyone's getting close to like 3-star 4-cost, that kind of thing. I don't think anyone is in this game from what I am seeing as Rienzo glances around the board, but that's like just good general practice. All right, well, there's the Ahri. Now he's on Ahri pair, Caitlyn pair, Blitzcrank pair. There's no need to grab Seraphines. He's not going to hit 3-star Seraphine in this game. Not going to happen rolling on level 8, barring some really, really bizarre aspect of RNG chance, but might as well pick up some of the other units that he could potentially get here. Anyway, so ever since he hit the 3-star Garen, Rienzo has not lost a round, and the Garen, I believe, has not died in any of these fights either. So very, very tanky Garen, and he's getting these ults off pretty well. I think he's ending every fight with more health than he's starting the fights with, which is pretty hilarious. But like even that Jinx, who's got, what is it, Deathblade, Rageblade Collector, like the Garen just is not dying. Is he actually going to die here? Nope. Still ends up surviving. And the Garen actually does the most damage in that fight too. You might be like, wait a minute. How is Garen doing the most damage in this fight? Well, Garen's ult, in addition to giving him additional max health, he does deal damage when he ults as well. Like, he actually does deal damage. And he does a oh, by the way, there's a Lucian here. Should probably hold that. I would say Lucian is not a bad unit to play on level up. But okay, I guess not. In addition to dealing physical damage when he ults, he also deals a percentage of his max HP. It's 10% of his max HP in damage as well. I think it's like 200-something damage plus 10% of his max HP, which again is not much under normal circumstances, but if he stacks up to like 6,000, 7,000 health, and he does 10% of that, I mean, if he's hitting like that can get his damage up pretty high by the end of these fights. And he does have a Bloodthirster, so he heals off a percentage of that too, off of the Omni, what is it, the lifesteal off of the Bloodthirster. So yeah, looking pretty good there. Now we're trying to get items, I think, to try to finish itemizing the Ahri. And there you can make a Gunblade, which is perfect. Again, you really do want the Gunblade on Ahri because that'll allow Ahri to heal the front line. Unfortunately, the other item not as good. Could try reforging something to take advantage of it. Like, he's going to take the tier. You could try using the Reforger to try to hit. Okay, never mind. I was going to say you could try to reforge one of those tank items and see if you could get either a sword or a tier for Shojin. You'd have 25% odds to get one of them. Another tier for blue buff or a sword to make Shojin. Like I said, you'd have what is it? Oh, you'd have 2 out of 7 odds to hit one of them, with the Reforger. So not great, but it was probably worth burning the Reforger to try to get one of them. Biggest reason why is the weakness of this comp is it doesn't have much damage. Like, it's tanky as all get out, but there's just not a lot of damage here. Not without RE 2-star and without having... not without RE 2-star or Kate 2-star. Also, does have a little gold enough. Oh, that's going to be RE 2-star. Hit RE after the roll down there. Okay, so that's not bad. Probably at this point, now you're just rolling for the Kate. If you can just hit the one more Kate, then you can probably look to level up and just go from there. Echo, he doesn't have Echo 2-star. All right, well, there's the 2-star Kate. That said, Rienzo is on 7 Mordekaisers, and Mordekaiser 3-star would be really strong here. Like, really, really strong. For this round, until he hits the Mord 3-star, though, he should probably move the items on Mordekaiser over to Blitzcrank. Like, that's kind of a small thing, but is like a little minor optimization. Okay, ended up making a Sunfire Cape. I think Rienzo has maybe overloaded a little bit on the tank items. Like, I think it's good to... Obviously, Garen's itemization is perfect. These are the items you want on Garen. And then having another tank is really good, but I think he might be overdoing the tank itemization a little bit too much. Might be better to try to make some items for the Ari and the Caitlyn. Again, I realize that you don't have full control over that. To some extent, you're limited by what items you're getting. But I think that this is maybe a little too much in terms of making items for tanks. But that's just personal preference. It is working out so far. I think it's all... And anyway, there's Echo 2-star. That's nice. But one thing... And okay, well, now he's on 8 Mordekaisers. You might as well roll for it. That's a Mordekaiser headliner, though, so he can't take that one. Still, he might as well roll for that last Mordekaiser because he's on 8 out of 9. Like, that's probably worthwhile to roll for. Because that's a big spike if he has 3-star Garen and 3-star Mordekaiser, both on a 6 Sentinel board. That's pretty strong. But as I said, I do think the weakness of this board is not enough damage. So you really do want to get a last item for Ari. And then it would be good to start getting some items for Caitlyn too. Also, a reason why I think it would be good to play Lucian on this board if you go to level 9. Just because you just need more damage on this board. The front line's going to last forever, but you need more damage. One thing that's helping Rienzo is none of the other boards really seem to have much backline access. This team has a Ezreal who can like toss his ults. But, like, there's nobody... I don't see anyone playing, like, a Karthus who's often going to kill the backline. I don't really see anybody playing in a Kali who's, like, going to dash into the backline. I don't see a lot of Edgelord or Crowd Diver boards. It feels like every single fight is just a front-to-back team fight. And his setup is, like, really well-suited for front-to-back team fights because you just can't get through the 6 Sentinel line fast enough. It's just not possible. Let's see. Out of items here, Stridebreaker would actually not be terrible on Ari. It wouldn't be great, but it would be a decent enough item. Could also try to do Morello's, which is not a great Ari item either, but like you just want more damage on Ari. I would probably take that. I definitely would not take another tank item here. Like, okay, what's Rienzo going to take? Is he going to take... Okay, yeah, I just don't think you need another Spirit Massage here. You got enough frontline already. Just grab another item so Ari does more damage. Morello's is not a great fit on Ari, but it'd still give her... I think there's like, what, 30 or 40 AP? All right, well, there's the Mordekaiser. That's nice. But, like, I just don't think you need this many tank items. Anyway, call me crazy, but I don't think you need quite this many. I think it would be much better to get an item for Ari or Caitlyn in this situation. But anyway, it's working out. And again, a big reason why it's working out is every team fight's a front-to-back team fight. If someone's diving in the back line, excuse me, and killing like the Caitlyn and the Ari quickly in these fights, then you can have a situation where Garen tanks forever, but it doesn't really matter because your team just does no damage and eventually he dies. That said, yeah, like this front line is pretty freaking tanky. That Garen, I still don't believe the Garen has died in even one fight since Rienzo hit the 3-star Garen. He is on an 8-match winning streak here. Now, that said, the Mordekaiser did finally die. Now it's down to just the Garen and, like, the ladies he's protecting in the back row. But, all right, yeah, Garen survives again. Garen does the most damage yet again. 7,300 damage in the fight. Once again, Garen survives. And now it looks like Rienzo's just going to level 9 here. He's on a 9-match winning streak. And yeah, I mean, he's 2-starred his whole board. There's not really any point in rolling any further here. And he's got so much health in the bank, he doesn't need to rush this either. He can afford to take his time, stay over 50 gold, keep getting max income. Or excuse me, max interest. I guess it's max income as well, but I meant max interest. He's getting the full 13 gold per round, which is the most you can get normally in TFT, from base income plus max interest, and then plus full win streak as well. All right, here's somebody who's playing a Spellweaver board. They hit 3-star Echo. They've also hit a 3-star Seraphine. So this board does not look that bad. It's a little weird that they have the Ziggs on the bench. I'm a little surprised they're not playing that, but I guess they don't have room for it. Still, this team definitely looks stronger than some of the others he's been hitting recently. The question is, can the Seraphine actually kill anything? This person's playing... Oh, this person has the damage version of Sona. That's kind of interesting. You almost never see someone play that. But this is the Sona that actually deals damage. You can see from the red version. No, I guess this was another board that just could never get through the front line. I guess it got reasonably close, but... Yeah, interesting that Mordekaiser did the most damage that fight. That's kind of wild. Mordekaiser did 8,000 damage in that fight. I will say the shield bash is helping out a lot. I guess maybe that's why Rienzo is building so many tank items, is for the shield bash. He does have that augment that makes his sentinels stronger than usual if they get a lot of armor and magic resistance. I guess that's also a big reason why I should have mentioned that as well. That's a big reason why the team composition is working so well too. Shield bash makes it makes this a lot stronger than it would be if you didn't have that augment. And that, along with the belt overflow, is really, really nice choices on the augment setup here. Definitely getting things that fit the team super well. But yeah, nobody has really been able to get back there and just like kill the Ahri or whatever. So Ahri's been pretty uncontested. Anyway, is Rienzo going to level 9? Yes, he is. He's picked up the Alawi. He definitely does not need an Alawi. Like, his board is super tanky. Rienzo, you don't need more tankiness. Your board is already insanely tanky. You don't need an Alawi here. There's not like, and this is an unfortunate pull because it's all mostly tank items again. He should take Ionic Spark here because he doesn't have an MR Shred. Definitely shouldn't be the Dragon's Claw. I think that's a mistake. I would have again taken the Morellos just to give Ahri an item. But yeah, if you're going to take a tank item, then at least get the Ionic Spark because you don't have an MR Shred on your board. And your board deals mostly magic damage. Remember, the Shield Bash also deals magic damage. That second gold augment that makes his Sentinel stronger, yeah, that actually also deals magic damage. So yeah, it actually would help a lot to be MR shredding the front line, because then the Shield Bash would deal more damage too. Anyway, I guess I spoke too soon. There was one person playing Karthus. I had said nobody was playing Karthus. I guess this person is, but it was a very weak Karthus that like didn't do anything in these fights. So yeah. But it just call me crazy. I just do not think that there's any need for Alawi on this board. Like, play Lucian here. Like, play the Lucian. He gives you more damage, and he gives rapid fire for Kate. Kate's got 8-bit trait completely stacked up. Yeah, the 8-bit has the full 10 stacks on the arcade high score. Now, Rienzo can't get the secret high score because he only has 8-bit 2, and you need 8-bit 6 for that. But I mean, Kate's getting 40% extra damage or 40% extra AD because 8-bit's completely stacked up. So like getting rapid fire trait in would be pretty good. Also, rather lazy work from this person here. They have the Zephyr, but they didn't like bother to place it. And like, this is not a ghost round. This is the actual round. The Zephyr really should have been on Garen. By the way, everybody has a golden item remover in this game mode, so you could literally drop in the Zephyr at the start of combat. That's just being lazy. Sorry, like I'm not trying to be too critical, but like that's just bad play by that player. There's no reason not to be able to get the Zephyr on a key target. Having the Zephyr just hit an Alawi tentacle is like super duper lazy, and Rienzo did not do a last second swap either. Anyway, so Rienzo's just slow rolling here. Again, Sona would also be a good unit to play. I would actually take Sona. Like, there's 3 Sonas right there. I could have easily played Sona 2-star. I would actually take the attack speed Sona for this build. Sona 2-star, if you pick the attack speed, she gives the entire team like 110% attack speed for, I think, 6 seconds. That would be really, really strong on this board. Like, you don't need the shielding and healing. I think a 2-star Sona with like with the attack speed thing would be very, very, very strong on this team. So that's also a possibility. I just think that Alawi is 100% the wrong unit to play here. But Lucian I like here. I would play Ziggs here, although I don't think we've seen a Ziggs in the store. Just like something that deals more damage. Anyway, this board has a 3-star or a 2-star Ezreal and a 3-star MF. For some bizarre reason, they only have one item on their 3-star MF. I don't know what they're thinking there. The Ezreal actually can punch through the front line, and like you've noticed, when Ez gets his ult off, he does a lot of damage. But it wasn't quite enough to one-shot the Ahri or one-shot the Caitlyn. And if you can't one-shot them, Ahri's just gonna heal up off her Gunblade, and like it's just not enough. Like there's just nobody who can kill the back line. Literally, no one can kill the back line here. And so you're just seeing every single fight is a pretty straightforward victory for Rienzo. I think he's on like a 12-match winning streak. He is finally going to take another item for Ahri. I do like the Archangel Staff a lot for Ahri because Like, again, this is a scaling stall team comp, and the Archangel staff's really nice for her here. Yeah, like, I would 100% play that Ziggs or the Jhin. Jin's good here. It's a stall comp. Jin's good on stall comps. But it's a little sad that Caitlyn has never gotten an item, because she's doing a lot. If you look at the damage chart, she's doing a lot of damage in these fights. Still, like I said, Rienzo's under no time pressure or anything here. He's got tons of health in the bank. He's kind of slow rolling for 3-star 4 cost, because he's got 5 Kates and he's got an extra Ari and an extra Blitz. So if he was ever in any danger, he could probably try to get like the Kate 3-star or the Ari 3-star or something like that, because none of them are being played on other boards. But it's back to this board again. Back to the, the Misfortune 3-star, Ezreal 2-star. Again, Ez's ult deals a ton of damage, but it can't quite one-shot the backline. And if that can't happen, like if Ari never dies and Kate never dies, I mean, it's like this board just not going to die. Look at Garen is still doing his thing. Garen's at 7,500 health. Now he's at 8,300 health. I appreciate Rienzo highlighting how much health. Now Garen's at 9,300 health. He hits 10,000 health before the end of the fight. I mean, you just can't kill this unit. You just can't kill it. He hits 10,000 health by the end of the fight. And GG. Rienzo won every single round after he hit the 3-star Garen. So an interesting game. I hope I wasn't trying to be too nitpicky. I was just trying to suggest things I saw that maybe could have been room for improvement. But a super cool team composition. I've never had any footage of a game that looked quite like this, and I really appreciate Rienzo sharing it with us. That one was entertaining to watch. All right, well, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the big Garen game. Until next time, take care, folks, and I'll see you again soon.